Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is November 8th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see the state of California is here. Check out some of the fog and low clouds across Northern California into the valley areas. Otherwise, pretty darn right clear here across the rest of the state. Look at the coastal areas, nice and clear up and down. Got some offshore winds developing. It'll be blowing through tomorrow, some Santa Ana winds. We'll look at those details. And of course, you probably hear the chatter about the storm system rolling in next week on social media, and we've been checking it out here for the last few days. Confidence increasing in that storm system. We'll be looking at those details through the video today, and also check out across the Sierra Nevada, nice round of snow we had with that last system, and we could be adding to it as we go through the end of next week. More on that here as we go later on through the video. And look at this, we're almost at 6,000 subscribers here. So again, I can't do this without you guys. Thanks for all the people who have been joining the page here and clicking like and subscribe. Much appreciated. Now, taking a look at this, I wanted to share this with the channel as well. This is Gold Beach, Oregon 2 days ago. And look at this water spout. What a shot there. And you can see the waves in the foreground crashing on the breakwater. So yeah, interesting stuff. This is the same system that brought the thunderstorm activity to Central and Northern California as well. So yeah, pretty rare sight there on the Oregon coast. Nice water spout. This day in SoCal weather history, November 8th, 2002. Check out the atmospheric river burrowing into California. Some big amounts across the higher terrain, and this is really favoring the higher terrain as well. As you can see, only 0.2 of an inch fell at San Diego here, but some intense surf also got the beaches 10 to 15 feet. Interesting stuff there. Stormy weather pattern next week. So this is Sacramento National Weather Service talking about the storm track, actually digging a little bit further off the coastline here. But yeah, the general idea is correct here, and we have the potential for heavy mountain snow and heavy rainfall, atmospheric river. We even have the potential for some wind as well. So we'll take a look at those details as we go through the video here. Looking ahead to next week, Los Angeles talking about the chance of rain all the way down through Southern California, potentially heavy. Again, it's going to depend on how this sets up. We're still looking at about a week out here. So we have to kind of take things with a grain of salt and be very careful with our wording on this system coming up here. But we'll be watching this and breaking it down day by day. Gusty winds and potential red flag conditions. Of course, the Santa Ana winds, offshore winds, low relative humidity, and the gusty winds can really drive some of that fire danger here. So all it takes is a spark. Heads up for that. And this is looking at the wind advisories out there. Gust to 55 miles per hour north to northeast winds. And this goes all the way through 2 p.m. on Thursday. This is where the wind advisories are currently. It'd be more northerly here and a little bit more northeasterly, of course, across Southern California. The Santa Ana winds will be blowing there also. So yeah, pretty blustery period as we go on in through tomorrow. Typical Santa Ana wind event here as we go through fall. And there's actually a high surf advisory here. Ventura County beaches, 4 to 7 feet with dangerous rip current. So heads up until 10 a.m. this morning. So that'll be wrapping up here in about the next hour or so. Here's that wind advisory, National Weather Service, Las Vegas. And you can see some gusty winds, Laughlin. Gusty winds for Las Vegas, not quite as bad there as well. But you can see Interstate 15 here. And if you're going out of Barstow or Kingman, watch out for those gusty winds, strong crosswinds. And if you guys want a nice affordable home weather station, click on the link down below. I've been testing this against much more expensive weather equipment, and it's doing quite well. It's all solar powered and wireless here. No batteries, ultrasonic anemometer, very fun station here, and it makes weather watching at your home much more exciting. Now looking at the NAM 3cam, this is hot off the presses, the 12Z run. Let's put this into motion. You can see the offshore winds ongoing, the strong northerly winds here across southern Nevada and some of the desert areas, and they turn northeasterly as they go through the canyons and gaps here across Southern California. And you'll notice this goes all the way on in through Thursday morning, but it should be waning on the day tomorrow as we start to relax those winds. You can see them still going here on in through Thursday night across some of the desert areas and western Arizona also. And we have a weak cold front kind of move into Northern California here. It's going to be really dying as it reaches the coastline though, but then our eyes will turn to the much more active pattern here developing as we go on in through the early portion of next week. Taking a quick look here at 10-meter wind gusts, you can see some gusts getting up over 50 to 55 miles per hour coming through the canyons here, the higher terrain, and out over the desert areas. This is the composite reflectivity. I just want to kind of show you this front incoming here. So we've got this going on through the day tomorrow, Thursday, and it really falling apart here. Just very light precipitation amounts, maybe a few hundredths of an inch for some areas as that system moves through. Just wanted to point that out really quick. But this is looking at the European model. This is last night's run, and you can see the system that's now passing through the area here. Another system rolls through the Pacific Northwest, and that's the one that's going to bring that weak cold front. It's just falling apart by the time it gets here. But then you can see a much more sinister trough start to drop down across the Pacific Ocean here. Look at how far south this gets. This has atmospheric river potential, wind potential, big snows across the higher terrain as well, and even all the way down across Southern California. Now let's take a look at the GFS. This is hot off the presses, 12Z versus itself yesterday, the 6Z run. And I'll show you some of the differences that are coming on a line here with model-to-model consistency. So as we go on in through next week, you can see the trough digging out over the ocean here. The atmospheric river starts to point at Northern California. But as you can see, there's a little bit of difference in timing, and this is going to continue over the next few days. We try to figure this out. You can see yesterday's run, actually, or last night's run, had a deep, powerful low much closer to the coastline here versus a little bit further northwest this morning. But this is probably going to bounce back and forth. As you can look at this 982 millibar low. This would bring some strong winds to the coastline also. But you can see this morning's run is nothing to sneeze at as well. Some very heavy rainfall, mountain rainfall all the way down through Southern California also. So yeah, lots of interesting stuff here to watch and break down as we go through the next few days. And could be a 1, 2, 3 punch here also. But yeah, again, details we will have to be working out. This is the GFS, last night's Ensemble run, and this is mean sea level pressure with the low pressure locations. And I want to show you what's going on here as we get the Santa Ana winds through Thursday with the higher pressure over the Great Basin. Weak cold front will swing through, barely even noticeable there. But as we go on into the extended, here we go on into next week, and you can really see the Ensemble members here. And again, there's 50 Ensemble members, and you can kind of see where they placed that low pressure system here, kind of agreeing here somewhere off the coast of Northern California. So we'll be watching this day by day here. You can see some of these low pressure systems in here are quite strong. So we could be getting a dynamic system into the region here. The meridional flow versus zonal. Zonal kind of going from west to east here, and you can get much more of a south to north or north to south flow in the meridional. I may be bringing this up here over the next few days as well. As you can see, this would resemble the trough that's going to be dropping down off the coastline here in California, so you can impress all your friends by knowing these terms. Now, taking a look at total precipitation in inches on the GFS 12Z run. Now, we're going to look at some ensembles here at the same time period. But you can see that weak cold front barely bringing any precipitation here to Northern California. Then the atmospheric river start to arrive here, and the storm system, as you can see, maybe a 1, 2, 3 punch, but coming all the way down across Southern California. Big amounts across the Sierra Nevada here as well as we scroll on into the next 10-day plus time period. So lots of details we need to be working out. As you can see, some pretty intense rainfall amounts are possible. This is looking at total snow 10-to-1 ratio also on last night's GFS. In fact, let's update that to show this morning's 12Z run. Why not? We have the data for it now. Put this into motion. As we go through next week, you can see big snowfall amounts coming in for the Sierra Nevada here. So yeah, you can see some places getting up over 3 feet maybe. It's not going to reflect in the snow depth for a lot of the areas here. You're probably looking at maybe, 1.5 to 2 feet after the storm passes through across some of the higher terrain out there. But again, big snowfall potential coming up here, and this would be the snow depth as of last night. You can see maybe some places across some of the higher terrain getting 3 feet of snowfall. Still kind of early in the year, however, but a lot of snow could be coming with these systems. Now, this is something interesting here. This is last night's European run. What we're looking at here is a 75th percentile. So you're looking at the top 25% of the Ensemble runs going through about 15 days. And you can clearly see they have quite a bit of precipitation here, all the way down even into Baja, Sierra Nevada, coastal range, even down through the higher terrain of Southern California. Some big amounts showing up. And what you can do here is click back and forth. So if we go to the lower 25th percentile of the ensembles, still not bad precipitation here. So that's why we know the confidence is increasing. And we can go to the 50th percentile here, and that's kind of the ensemble mean or close to it. Or you could go to the 90th percentile and look at the top 10% of the ensemble runs here, and you can see some pretty intense precipitations showing up in there. Or you can drop back down to 10%. So we still have fail modes with this storm system here, where there could be much lighter amounts across portions of Southern California, or the storm just stays a little bit too far off the coastline, or just comes in generally weaker than what the models are saying. But you can see big variability here between the 90th and the 10th versus the median here as well. Now, this is looking at the GFS, and this is looking at atmospheric river potential. This goes out right to when the storms start to arrive here. So we're going to scroll through here. And then you can see the storm system developing here, and then maybe some powerful atmospheric river activity moving in just at the very end of the GFS run. As you can see, we're just kind of bullseyeing California here. And if I show you on this map, you can see right at the end of the run is when these systems start to come in. So you can kind of see a moderate atmospheric river starting to show up there for some of the Northern California coastline here. But this will be changing over the next few days as we get a little bit further out into the forecast here. This is probably going to light up further down the California coastline also, and kind of a zoomed in view of that there. And you can kind of see where that atmospheric river data is coming from. This is San Francisco, and it's kind of a fantasy windstorm hunt. You can see some bigger solutions showing up in there, some gusts up towards 40, 50 miles per hour in some of these individual ensemble runs. So we have to watch and see just how close that low pressure is going to get, what kind of pressure gradient is going to set up across much of the state of California as these systems move in next week. This is Los Angeles. Check out some of the variability here in the ensemble runs. A control run over an inch in a 24-hour period, 1.2 to be exact, but some of these have very little rainfall. And some of them have huge amounts, up over 2 inches. That one has up over 4 inches. So you can kind of see what we're dealing with there. Some big variability, and that's to be expected at this time frame. This is Lake Tahoe. Check it out. Some snowfall incoming here. The control run has about 10 inches, 11 inches there in a 24-hour period. But as you can see, much less in other runs here, and actually much more in some other runs also. Now, taking a look at Mammoth, you can see basically the same picture here as well. Some kind of hit and miss and big variability in the ensemble runs. So this is something we'll be breaking down day by day and looking for some model agreement and consistency. Check out Mammoth here as we go on into that portion the week upcoming next week. You can see as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, the temperatures start to really drop off here when these systems are rolling in, dumping some mountain snow across the area. And this would be Lake Tahoe as well. You can see some pretty chilly afternoon lows and chilly overnight lows as well. Now, this is the national blend of models here. What's going on here is that we've got, some mid-upper 60s here across some of the valley areas here, warmer across Southern California, the desert areas, pretty typical there. Put that into motion for tomorrow, something similar. But we warm up a little bit here, especially across some of Southern California and the desert areas as we go on into the weekend before that next storm system arrives. But then look at what happens when the next storm system rolls in here. You can see the temperatures really drop off across the Sierra Nevada and the valley areas in North Valley, only getting up to the mid-50s by the time we go towards next week as these storm systems start to arrive and really cool down the area here. So yeah, fun stuff upcoming here, folks. Here we go, 6 to 10 day precipitation probability outlook. And this is just the chances for above normal precipitation here. So you can kind of see we are bullseye here across California, Nevada, and portions of Arizona. And 8 to 14 day temperature outlook here. This is November 15th through November 21st. But anyway, yeah, exciting stuff coming up here. I can't wait to go over some of the models here today. We're still trying to get some consistency. Model run change is quite different as we saw. Some are bringing deep lows close to the coastline. Some are keeping them further away. But most of them have atmospheric river activity moving into the state of California here. So confidence is increasing coming up here. Hope you guys are having a good day. We're going to do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.